you, have you found your love language? If you have found your love language, can you wave your hand? If you have not, we're going to help you look for it. Okay, if you feel like you, from these things we have taught, you know your love language, sit. If you don't, stand. Nobody's going to stand. Okay, if you know that you found your love around, you can tell what you like, what your emotions are like. So if you found your love language, let me see. I've seen people. You're not standing. You're still looking for it. You don't have to stand if you have not found it. You don't have to stand. I just want to know. You can mess it. From all we have taught, you can't find anyone that resonates with you. Some people are still sitting. I want you to think. The purpose of the teaching is so that if you are online and you have found your own, please can you just indicate? Can you indicate? If you found your own, like you can raise your hand on the comment box. Yeah, I've seen some people. Okay, I've seen Angela, I've seen Blessing. That thumbs up, I don't understand it. Jonathan, have you found it? Sam, Godfrey, have you found it? If you have found your own, just raise. Yeah, okay, almost everybody. Almost everybody. Eminence, I've not seen. Is Anne raising her hand? That thing is hiding her face. Okay, Pamela, have you? Faith, have you? You don't have to raise your hand if you have not. The aim of the teaching is so that you can discover. Those of you that are sitting, I'll give you the assignment to discover your love language. Otherwise, you'll be a difficult lover. I'm not prophesying. I'm just telling you the truth. If you don't know how you receive love, you confuse your spouse. You have to be clear how you receive love. Let them know what communicates love to you and what doesn't. If you have found, you can join those that are standing. From all things I've said, there are tests you can take. I wanted to first give you a test before, but I felt like I don't have the strength to be marking and knowing your love language. I would have asked you some questions. Some questions. By the time you answer those questions, it will categorize your love languages. It will show you the most dominant, the second, and then in that order. So if you are sitting, I want to encourage you to find. Is Victor sitting? Don't make it difficult for yourself in this church. Nobody go on. Don't stand if you don't know what I'm talking about. Just sit. But please, I beg you, the aim of the teaching is to help you find out more about yourself, so that whoever will be in love with you will not have a difficult life. So please, if you have not understood what I taught, you can go back and listen again so that you can gain clarity. All right, have you been blessed? All right, have you learned a lot? I hope you're going to practice those things and become a better lover. Now, this is not just for your relationship, like I said. Even in your interactions with friends, how you receive love is the same way in all relationships. All right, thank you. So we're going to have questions now, right?
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Can we celebrate Dad and Mom again this evening? And very quickly, I would like for us to rise with that ovation. Let's rise this evening as we welcome Dad again and Mom as they answer these questions from their heart and their wisdom. Come on, let's make it louder this evening. Hallelujah. Let's have our seats. Welcome Dad, welcome Mom. Thank you so much for this evening, for all of the wealth of wisdom that you have given to us. We are changed because of these things. That, with your permission, I would like to go on to ask the questions. All right. Okay. This one says, as a single person, should you speak about your love languages publicly, Or should you let your potential partner discover your love languages through observation and conversation?
All right. If it's when you say publicly, I was trying to understand what you meant. If it's public, you put it on status, there's no need for that. But don't make life difficult for your spouse. The moment you start your relationship, let them know. Don't wait for them to observe. Some of you, every love language ministers to you. You almost combine the whole 5. So, but like I told you, not all are in the same measure. So, communicate to your spouse early. That's why I wanted us to have this teaching, so that if you have already started a relationship and you have not done that, go after now. All couples should go and do that. I forgot to mention that I was closing. Sit together and share. It's an open book test for both of you. Don't say I'm covering it. I don't want you to know what it is. You will suffer. You will go through a lot. Let your spouse know. This is how I receive love. If I was telling my wife, was it yesterday? I said, after this teaching, we'll have this love language discussion again. We'll talk about it. We'll review it again. So discuss with your spouse. Don't leave them in a guesswork. Just be clear. Both of you should keep it on the table. After now, if you're in a relationship, I charge you by the Lord to go and have that conversation. As you get home, tell yourselves, this is my love language, or this 1, 2. We should not have more than 2. Basically, 1, 2 are my love language. And like I said, from my discovery, from my wife, love languages, I think they do change over time. Because there's a time I was trying to understand my wife, I didn't understand some of the requests she was making of me, which were not our formal requests. So, but have those discussions. When your love language is changing, tell them that, now you have money, and gift is now my new love language. So you're shaking your head, you're nodding. So discuss. Don't put it in public, but discuss with your spouse.
This one says, is physical attraction a first requirement for one to become interested in a lady? Being carnal if one tells a lady that he's attracted to her?
Physically. No, it's not being carnal. But there has to be more. We have taught these things in teachings, but there has to be more. Because that physical attraction will not always sustain you. So you will need more. So you can start with physical attraction, but you need to look for more reasons to stay with that person. Otherwise, you will just be a lustful person, craving their bodies and nothing else. And the moment you have seen them enough, you are tired of that relationship and you get out of it. So you have to give yourself more reasons to be in that relationship. Like I used to tell you, when you get married, as you grow old, that physical attraction will become different. It will fade away. It will become, a slim person will become bigger. Somebody that was light becomes darker. So anything might happen. Somebody might have an accident and a part of their body is disfigured. Everything you were craving as a single is gone. So give yourself more reasons why you should be with that person. So that will be my answer to that.
This one says, when a man doesn't like communicating with his partner and likes keeping things to himself and from the partner in the name of I don't share my feelings with anybody, what should the partner do?
The partner doesn't like?
The man in the relationship doesn't like communicating.
Okay.
And uses the phrase, I don't share my feelings with anybody.
Okay. It's obvious that you are the anybody, so you should not still be in that relationship. Now, it's different when the person is willing to take steps to be better. But when they say they don't share their feelings with anybody, then that is not a healthy relationship to be in. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's as simple as that. If they are willing to, I grew up handling things myself, but I'm willing to learn how to communicate with you better, to tell you how I feel, to carry you along on my journey, then that shows a level of intentionality that you can work with and build with. But when he has made it categorically clear that you are here to live your life while I live my life, and you are seeing it before you stepped into such a relationship, you should not, love is not that blind, it can see. You understand? So it should slow you down and let them work on that. All right? If they have a way whereby that can be worked on, for example, they have a good local church, and you can tell them, okay, if you're going to be in a relationship with me and you've admitted to having this particular issue, you need to speak to my pastor about it. Okay, now there can be guidance on helping the person on how to open up about it, and teaching such as this can help the person. But if he still insists, then that is not a healthy relationship to be in. You can't have a relationship where you can't communicate with your partner or they can't communicate with you.
This one is a rather funny one. It says, if you see someone you like and the two of you are in the same church, you know you both like each other, but you don't talk to each other but have feelings for each other. So you like looks, I missed this. You both like looking at each other.
Is it HeraldsNation? Just tell us. So whoever is looking at somebody.
That is not in the originals. I don't see it. But you don't talk to each other but have feelings for each other. What should be done?
You are assuming. You are living in assumption. You don't talk to each other. Who told you have feelings for each other? You think by looking, how many of them have I looked at today? Does that mean I like you? He said we look at each other. Maybe while that lady's eyes are just wandering around, your eyes were jamming because you were also always looking. So if you are always looking at somebody and the person is always looking at everybody, there will be a chance that your eyes will jam at some point. Abi, you are always looking at a particular person, but the person is looking around. For example, now if you have been staring at me all through this teaching now, by the time I look and get to your point, our eyes will meet. Do you get what I'm saying? So you are sleeping on a water bed. You are deceiving yourself. You like yourself. Who told you? You don't talk to each other, but you know you like each other. You look at each other. You are deceived. If you want to clarify that, walk up to the person. Start a conversation. Build a conversation. Try to communicate. Build friendship. Then you can tell for certain. But you are assuming. And it will shock you. Well, if it's a herald, you know all relationships. It will shock you if the person is in a relationship. It will shock you. That person may be in a relationship and means no harm at all. So don't assume. That's a very costly assumption. Imagine that you spend 1 year doing that, thinking that they like you, whereas somebody is praying over their matter, and then one day while you are still liking them, we announce them 6 months. Don't be deceived. Though. Do you have anything to say?
This one says,
so the summary is walk up to them, confirm the feelings. If we are not saying you may not be right, but don't be deceived. You are deceiving yourself. Walk up to them, clarify. Don't clarify and say, hey, do you like me? You're always looking at me. Some people think that's boldness. That's foolishness. So you're always looking at me. Do you like me? If the person likes you, that may end that likeness on the spot. Be tactical about it. Be wise. Build friendship. Hey, how are you doing? Okay. You can now talk about looking at each other 6 months later. But don't start with that. Say, do you like me? You're always looking at me. No lady will admit to you that they like you. If you say that. Yeah.
Okay, this one says, good evening, Vanguard. Thank you for the amazing messages you brought us this evening. I am fully blessed by them. However, I do have a question. Something that has been affecting me for a while now. As you mentioned, people whose love language is word or words of affirmation tend to be affected by negative words. How can I grow from always being affected by negative words?
When someone that last week, I think I've answered this already now.
When someone doesn't appreciate me or talks down on me, it can linger in my mind for days. So in that context, how do I grow from such?
I think but just again I'll say you have to negate the words with another positive words. You have to speak more about yourself, speak more to yourself, and distance yourself from those kind of people. But if you want a more comprehensive answer, I think I answered you last week. Maybe you were not here. I hope you are not a church member that is asking this question, because you should have been here last week. So I answered it last week. Speak positively to yourself. You have to, like I was teaching in the morning, in the service in the morning, you have to be the architect of your own life. You have to speak about yourself. You have to have a very high, now not to think more highly than you ought to think, like Paul says, but have a high self-esteem. Like, believe so much in yourself. Speak well about yourself. No matter what you look like, no matter your qualifications, believe in yourself. Speak about yourself. And such people, distance yourself from them. You don't need them around you.
There's a question here that says, is it necessary to know your spouse's phone password?
Capital yes. Capital yes. You should know your spouse's phone password. Now, let's even leave the case of an emergency when you need to help them to. That's not what I'm even talking about. Now, it gives them that sense of responsibility, okay, that helps them not to try to hide anything from you. Now, the moment where you are laid back about things like that, I don't care, don't worry, whatever you do, you are opening up a room whereby you can allow your partner to begin to hide things from you because they just feel like you don't care. Okay? So one of the things that, being involved in something like that, it helps them to not try to, and it can build a healthy relationship whereby you both know that we know each other completely, we know, and in some cases there are issues that would have happened that simple being in your partner's life or allowing your partner into your life through such simple acts would help quench doubt of disloyalty or unfaithfulness or things like that. Because even if somebody comes from anywhere and says, oh, I've been having so and so conversation with your partner and wants to twist the words, you won't have any doubt or any question in your heart because you know the person so well, you know who they talk to, you know how they talk to people, and whatever anybody is trying to stir, you understand, you will just be like, nah, don't bother, don't go there, this is not a conversation I'm going to be having with you. So that's just simple ways, but again, primarily it helps you and it also helps your partner to not bother trying to hide things from you because you both are completely open and honest with each other. So what is in phone password that you're hiding? It's the beginning of disloyalty. That is how you will start, and it will grow to something bigger. All right.
Someone says, "Greetings, Vanguards. My question: if you know that your partner is sad and you ask him the problem, or ask him what the problem is, and he says you should forget about it, and when you ask why he says so, he says he does not tell someone about his problems, that he always keeps it to himself, what should be done?"
I think it's similar to
Very same
what
handwriting
was
as
answered.
well.
I don't know how you have this kind of spouses that will have things. How did you get to that point with them? You should not have somebody that cannot tell you. Now the time might not be right. It might not be the right moment. Sometimes some people can't talk in a particular, not because there's no time, but they need to probably gather their thoughts. They need to probably come out a little bit from the situation. They're still overwhelmed or something like that. But ultimately, you don't have somebody that cannot talk. Somebody that would say, I like to keep my things. What kind of relationship is that one? You shouldn't. That person needs help. So I won't really advise that you end it. You can just seek help. Such a person probably, like I give you a practical step in how to help people uncover their emotions gradually. Maybe they grew up in a setting where everybody solves their problems themselves, so you can't really just blame them like that. So, but you have to talk to your spouse about your problems. You have to. Otherwise, outsiders will be the ones you talk to. So please, such a person might have to see us if you are the person struggling with that, or if your spouse is the one, you can bring them to us. You can come together, and we'll help you out.
It's not completely necessary to read this one, but it's very similar. It says,
Okay.
when a man doesn't like communicating with his partner and likes keeping things to himself, what should be done? Same person.
Okay, you have to just, all people that are bringing these issues, I think you have to also be careful. Before you say people don't communicate, you have to find out. Sometimes it's from the background, they don't talk, where they are from. Like I mentioned in the teaching, some people, the way they shut them down when they were young, they believe nobody wants to listen to them. For some people don't offer counsel to their spouse because they are scared that the spouse will say is nonsense, because the way they were raised in their house, the moment they talk, they say, who are you? What do you have to offer? So people grow up believing that they have nothing good to offer. So they have that setting. But then there are those that it might be the spouse that led them to that point. Sometimes you say something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I usually encourage you, talk about it. Keep saying. Only speaking, it gets to a point where you actually get tired of talking, and then you don't want to talk again. Sometimes it's your spouse's response, the times you raised matters, that meant that most likely they just prefer that. Instead of making, sometimes they are looking for solace in you, you make the thing worse. So they just prefer to be quiet. Okay, I'd rather deal with it myself. Instead of, if I tell you now, in fact, sometimes you tell your spouse something, they are blaming you. That is your fault. You should have. But sometimes they just need you to understand that, okay, sorry, I understand you. That's it. So you might have been the one. So before you throw that thing back at that person, be careful. Are you sure that you don't have a part to play? So do some introspection. If you're that person, check. Have there been similar cases where they brought matters to me, and then the way I responded showed that the person doesn't want to raise matters. Some people prefer to go and raise matters with their friends than their spouses, because their spouses will judge them, their friends won't judge them. Things like that. So you might have been the one that made it difficult for your spouse to talk to you. If you are that person, then you need an adjustment to make, and you have to talk about it. They didn't get there. Nobody was born that way, I don't think. They didn't get there. So you have to find out what happened. So before you throw it back at them, you might need to look at yourself. Have I contributed to this at all? Do you get?
That was the final bit of questions.
Okay,
Thank
very
you, Dad.
good.
Thank you, Mom.
All right, thank you. Okay, there's some online questions. How many of them? 6. Really?
Okay.
All right.
Okay, this one says, I love and cherish this girl.
Dust.
For necessity's sake, I will read that line again. I love and cherish this girl, and I want to get married to her. But she doesn't like my church. For example, I'm attending Living Faith Church, and she's attending Redeemed Christian Church. And I really want to spend the rest of my life with this person. In this case, what should I do?
I really.
Yeah.
So one is attending Levi, one is attending Redeem. But the one is the father of the
Spiritual
other
father of the other. So you're
I
safe, you're
wonder
home.
why, if your spouse doesn't want to attend your church, is a major red flag. A major red flag. Major. I'm majoring on the major. Is a major. Forget that you are not planning. I don't want you to spend the rest of your life with that person. I don't want you to. If you can't agree on that basic thing, it's the beginning of problems. You have so many problems. Other things will stem out of that. Because if you can't attend the same church, your children already, you are dividing them. When they come, they have to choose their sides. And it is those kind of divisions that give children the liberty to say, I also want to choose my own church. Since daddy is going here, mom is going here, I will do my own thing. So, you can love another person. I don't think you really want to marry that person. If you don't agree on church, it's a major red flag that you don't want to overlook, because it's not today's problems, it will become issues later on. So, and by God's grace, we've had such cases in the past. Don't joke with it at all.
Okay, I was just going to add, I think Vanguard has answered that perfectly. I believe this person is the man, that's why he's saying, because he kept saying her. At this point, I'm talking to the ladies, all right? You should know by now that wherever you marry, okay, you are bound to go to their local assembly. Like, it's not debatable, all right? As long as that person is the head of the home, don't know that in your heart. Like, for example, you've heard true teachings and say, I will change the man, or I would form my own family. It doesn't happen that way. Just understand that the man is the head of the home, and once he has made a choice of a spiritual church or a local church to attend, it automatically becomes your church. So don't go in with the mentality to already divide the union. That is what you are aiming at. The moment you say, I love him but I don't love his church, what you want to do is create a division. So just understand that as a woman, your submission also tends towards the local church. Take that and be at peace. That's all I want to add.
This one says, if you didn't really pray before entering a relationship, but signs are popping up that you are in the wrong relationship, or you have a feeling that something is not quite right and you should break off the relationship, how do you communicate this to the person so you can part ways amicably?
You should pray first. When you started, you did not pray. When you didn't pray, something happened. So, don't make such a decision rashly. Like I told you, what we taught these last 2 Sundays might look basic. That might just be the problem you have. So, don't be too conclusive yet. Pray about it. So, don't think of going your way amicably yet. Pray about it. I don't know if you're a herald. Well, I don't think you are, because if you are, we'll know about it. You should pray. I don't know how long. 1 week, 2 months, 1 month. Pray about it. When you now feel confused, because we are only hearing your own side. We are only hearing your own side. So I can't really advise you to go ahead with it. We don't know if you are even at fault for many things. So you have to calm down. I think you should seek counseling. it's better to hear more about this matter before you make that decision. So that you didn't pray about something before you started, actually, doesn't mean it's not God. Like I thought in our series, Spiritual and Body, there's a way your spirit man can actually lead you in a way to the right person without necessarily praying. But it's safer to pray. But if you didn't pray, it doesn't mean you got it wrong. That a relationship is right doesn't mean there won't be signs, problems, questions, all of that. So you might be looking at all those questions and thinking because of these things that means it's a wrong relationship, and it may not be. So it's better to pray. And if you can seek counsel with us, or you have a pastor, you can seek counsel, so that I would like to look at the other side of the story to know if you, because you look like the saints, but I don't really think so. Do you get? All right.
Okay. What advice would you give a 26-year-old lady in a relationship with a very good Christian guy, 28 years, who is a university dropout? He says he wants to go back to school to get a degree, but however, he keeps taking jam forms every year because he's looking to get admission for a particular course he wants to do.
For medicine.
She, on the other hand, is done with her master's and looking for a job.
Let me laugh first, please.
Okay, now this is very it's a bit sensitive in the sense that I understand where your fear is, that yes, you are way much advanced in your own progress, all right, and much more than he is. Now, one thing I want you to first of all focus on is on figuring out, let me not use the word figuring out, being convinced that this is the relationship for you. Now, this is where it's always important that you have an oversight over your relationship. Now, if you're in a good church, like I always have to use Heralds because that's what's safe. Now, that means that your pastors are aware, they have put you through a structure that makes you to pray, gain convictions concerning the relationship, and that has been done. You know that this is a person. Now, it will be easier for the same set of people in unity with you to steer the person in the right direction. Now, if this is a case of somebody that is living life on his own and trying to forcefully, gain admission into a particular course, I'm sorry to say, if you are listening to me now, you are wasting time. That's just the truth of the matter. We are in a generation today that let me not say what I studied before people start laughing at me too. We all studied what we are not doing right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? We all have courses that we are not practicing right now. And that's because the world has evolved, has changed. So if you stay stuck on the fact that you must study a particular course because if you get there before you can get fulfilled in life, it already puts a question mark on what your life choices are as a man. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that anything I do, I can prosper by the time I'm done. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's why I said if there is a right oversight over the relationship, there can be a serious conversation and a serious steering and understanding that can come to the person that will see that the next admission I get, I can focus on this and then we continue our relationship. Bearing in mind that also going back to school to finish your academics in no way stops your marital progress. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's just about, like I said, go and submit yourself to the person that the head is being turned right. It's really all about the life choices of who you are picking as a marital partner. If it's someone that is willing to listen to guidance such as this, you will see that one thing is not disturbing the other. It's just about you understanding that if this is the academic career that is favorable right now, favorable, the one that's available right now, I will do it while also progressing in my relationship. And you will not stall the person to wait for you for the next 5 years. Medicine is like 7 years. You will now wait for the person. You tell the person they have to wait. You would know that you can actually continue your marital career, marital relationship, and also still have your career alongside. It's just about the maturity of the mind and the willingness to be submitted for guidance. That's just about, if that pride is there, it will follow you to the end of your time, and you will keep trying to achieve something you will eventually not even focus on. That's my own advice.
Thank you, Mom. This one says, what's your opinion on men who seek out ladies that are way older than them? That is between ages. No. What's your opinion on men who seek out ladies that are way older than them? between 10 and 15 years to date or court for marriage, are they groomers? Should one be wary of them?
Be weary of them. I was even thinking the person would say like 1 year old, that 10 or 15 years.
10 to 15
No,
years.
that is a very questionable character. The person is just looking for a mommy
Sugar
figure.
mommy.
Yes, he's looking for a mommy figure. Someone that is going to baby them. Someone that is going to take care of their life. Take care of their life's choices for them. No, that is, you should pick up your shoes. Don't bother dusting them, but run. That is a very questionable character, and you should not stay close to such people.
Is he planning to marry that person or what? To marry a 10, 15-year-old?
For what? No. Run, please, as fast as your legs can carry you.
Would you advise a lady to consider stopping her use of jewelry because that's the doctrine of the church of the man that's interested in her? People are telling her she will miss out on a good man because she can't let go of ordinary jewelry. But her concern is that the man claims he doesn't mind her using them, but his parents and his church would frown at it.
Stop using the jewelry now. Abi, if jewelry would cause your brother to stumble. Use jewelry. What's there in jewelry? Now, the truth of the matter is that all those things they are ephemeral. Very soon, I can tell you, 1, 2, 3 years, things will change. That man might leave that church. People travel abroad. All that one that the parents are saying, blah, 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 blah. Those things are quick to change. Jewelry or no jewelry, like Paul says, meat does not commend us to God. It's the church doctrine. You follow it. You follow it. They don't want jewelry, but he's a good man. He's a good man in a good place, in quote. And, if you feel like that's the right thing to do, the right relationship to go to, why not? If you are convinced about it, you have your conviction about the relationship, jewelry is too fickle to be a deciding factor because you don't wear jewelry. In fact, in the future you might not like jewelry again yourself. I'm serious. There are things I used to like to do that I don't like to do again. So even you might not really like, not because it's bad. Jewelry is not bad, but the church doesn't like jewelries. So, and you found a good man that attends that good church, why not leave jewelry and marry the man? Like they say, leave food and touch God. Leave jewelry, touch man. So I would actually advise you to let go. It's just jewelry. There's nothing there. Even, sorry to, I don't know how to put it if I say it wrong there. I would say even if you feel like you are not physically attractive, is it jewelry? So probably you feel like the jewelry is making you look beautiful. There's nothing. I don't like jewelry except my watch. I don't like chase anything. Not because of anything. It's just me. So that you like jewelry now, you may not like it again. That you are not allowed to wear it now. In 2-3 years, things might change. Jewelry box you packed, you can pick it up again and start using it. By then you would have secured the bag. The man will be you would have secured the man, and then they said he's a good man, according to what you said. People are saying you're not a good man. Don't hold on to jewelry. That jewelry is too small. In fact, you can go and burn them, destroy them, or you can dash them out. And then in years to come, you will buy more jewelry. But jewelry is too, I can assure you for certain, you will still wear that jewelry, I'm sure. But for now, let it go, so that you can marry a good man. Alright.
I have one here that says, as a lady, is it
What
right
is the
or
6 questions? How many questions?
not 6?
It's not 6. 9.
8, 9. As a lady, is it right or biblical to approach a guy that you like? Won't you be seen as cheap if you do so?
If you like a guy, let him know in the most polite way. Ensure he's a sensible person that will not sing the song in your ears for the rest of your life. Any small thing that happens, you are the one that came to me. You are who the one that came to me. If you like somebody, maybe the guy is not getting the signal. You can go, you can give indications, hints, indications that you like the person. You may not be too direct. Is it biblical? Yeah, why not? Females went after their men in the Bible. Ruth went for Boaz. So, Boaz was historically an old man. But they said the night they got married, after they probably had sex, the man died. He was that old, you know. And Esther, famously, Esther Mbolak, sorry, Esther in the Bible, you know. I like where Esther is sitting actually. All right, let's go. Okay, when I gave that instruction, this is what happened. Okay, so when I gave that instruction today, the people you see beside their so Esther in the Bible, that's direct. Just be practical about it. You like somebody, he may not be seeing it, he may not be so motivated by that direction right now. Maybe he's thinking about money, he wants to make money, he wants to, you can just nudge him, show some care,